Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and her two most recent books, both Kindle editions, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
In our last episode, Judy, you spoke about the fourth dimension. You said we may be affected on the 4D astral level. We're talking about the effects of the injection, but certainly not beyond that. And once we wake up to the greater reality, we come to understand that nothing can harm us at that level, so as we are so much more. I just have a couple of questions here regarding all of the levels that we oscillate through during our day, including 3D, 4D, and even 5D. Are you saying that nothing can harm us on all of those levels while we're here in our physical bodies having this earth experience when we move beyond the fear barrier?
Paula, our physical 3D body is vulnerable and can be damaged. This is just part of being in physical form, and damage to that form may be part of our physical experience. Our physical body has a limited lifespan, and at some point we'll have to vacate it. This is inevitable, as the death of the physical body is just part of life.
Yeah.
We create our reality and attract life experiences to us through our thought patterns. So the more fear we have, the more likely we are to attract fearful experiences into our life. Our 4D experience is the same, and in fact is even more sensitive and potent when it comes to attracting fear. In fact, everything that happens to us in the way of illness and accidents arises first at the 4D level as a cause, then manifests at 3D level as an effect.
So we create the disease or the accident at the fourth dimensional level, and it manifests at the third. And this is done on an unconscious level, like whatever manifests on the physical level was first emotional. Is that the same sort of thing?
Yes, our emotions, which are linked into 4D consciousness, are focused on the etheric and astral planes. So fear and or stress at these levels has the potential to manifest into our physical reality as illness or accidents. This is how healing modalities such as Reiki and acupuncture work. They target the cause at the etheric level before it has a chance to manifest as an effect or symptom at the physical level. Entrapments for us in the dying and death process are also based at these levels. For example, if we've been led to believe in hellfire and damnation during our life, or else a judgmental God figure doling out reward or punishment, then we'll experience that in our after-death state, at least until we come to realise it is nothing more than an illusion. Once we're able to shift our focus and our conscious awareness to 5D, we're more able to stay clear of this entrapment. Our physical body is still vulnerable and we cannot live forever, but with our focus at 5D, we don't become trapped and entangled in the net of fear, either before or after the perfectly natural evolutionary and transitional process we call death. When we learn to operate at 5D, we're much more able to let go and let God.
Yeah, so everything that you've said so far comes back to choosing love. But we were born into fear, and therein lies the dilemma that we're being faced with. Remembering to choose love over fear. Remembering that we have a choice. Intellectually, we know that the solution is to choose love, but since we're in Earth School and we live our day-to-day lives being presented with all of these obstacles and challenges for us to evolve, we don't always remember. But the thing is, we still have free will, and so we can always return to the present moment and choose love. But then the problem is, if we're in fear, we tend to perpetuate more fear. And now there's all this evidence available through the various studies that have been done showing that for those of us who choose to adhere to the narrative, this injection, that it has caused harm to our physical bodies. So can you talk to us about that?
Yes, Paula, certain actions that the planetary controllers are mandating right now can cause us harm on the physical 3D level, and perhaps even on the 4D level to our DNA. But our DNA is multidimensional and goes way beyond these lower levels. As well as this, there are 3 points to keep in mind. Firstly, two opposing sides are using fear to control us, so inaccuracies are being fed to us from both sides. Secondly, we freely choose our time of death before we are born, so no death is ever wrong or accidental. Thirdly, the only real reality is that in our true form we are immortal spiritual beings. We do not die, only our physical body dies. We do not. At the same time, even as multidimensional beings, fear can trap us temporarily at the 4D etheric astral level. This is the so-called amnesia net that keeps so many of Earth plane humanity trapped on the wheel of karma for many lifetimes. This net is fear.
That's really helpful, Judy. We need to understand this because it's not easy right now for so many of us, and especially the ones who are waking up after having subjected themselves to the narrative that we're being asked to adhere to, or else those of us who went along with the narrative for whatever reason, and also people wanting to protect their loved ones. So many people now are frantically seeking advice to neutralize any damage or just advice on how to move forward and to live their best life. Can you offer any comfort in these situations?
Yes, just knowing on the deepest level of your being that nothing can harm your true self helps to alleviate the fear. We are all a manifestation of God or source energy, so in the greater reality, nothing can harm us. We are way, way more than a physical body. Physicality is a very small part of our true reality. It isn't easy because all of us have been programmed since birth by the fear agenda here on Earth, and most especially by the fear of death agenda.
Yeah.
In reality, you don't ever lose a loved one. All that happens is that they move up to a higher vibrational frequency. Nobody is ever permanently lost to us. We'll all be reunited with our loved ones. There's a beautiful Native American quotation dealing with this that says, "There is no death, only a change of worlds." Love that.
It's nice.
As for the loss of our way of life, this can potentially be a good thing. Life can be very distracting. Perhaps we need to stand back a bit more or simplify things down a bit to allow more time for inner spiritual reflection. Many people use busyness as a way of avoiding this inner reflection, but inner reflection is a prerequisite to getting to know self, which is what spiritual development and self-realization is all about. So many people have a major problem with this facet of spiritual growth, but at this time of major planetary shift, it cannot be delayed or avoided any longer. The bottom line is keeping your energy system in a state of balance, so a spiritual practice of some sort is important and necessary to carry out on a daily basis, and this requires quiet alone time.
Yes, and in our last episode, you also say that the Greys are playing a major role in all of this. They've been there, done this before, they know what's required to get through it, and they're here to help. Many Greys and other ETs volunteered to be here now, in Earth human form, for this reason. So the Greys are helping us, that's good to know. So can you expand on this? Like, for example, are they involved in neutralizing what's being put into human bodies, either by taking people up on the ships or doing some kind of a procedure while we're asleep? Or is there anything else that you may be doing that needs to be shared with us about this?
Yes, Paula, there are a couple of points to talk about here. Many people are being brought up onto the ships and given assistance to stay healthy. I've had 3 conscious experiences of having a jab given to me up on the ship, and I know of several other people who've also experienced this. One even woke with a needle mark on her upper arm and a bit of soreness. So yes, we're getting protection there. At the same time, I've also heard of somebody down here who was offering protection by a team of off-planet healers who have supposedly come here to assist, but are charging $200 a session. This is so wrong and is just playing on people's fears to make a quick buck. No genuine ET healers would do this. Any protection needed will be given up on the ships and no payment required. This is not the way genuine ETs operate, so please don't get sucked in.
It's good to know. So bottom line is that divine design is playing out regardless, and that means different things to different people. And it's up to us to accept that everybody has a different stance on it. What do you think it means, Judy?
Okay, divine design plays out the way it's meant to play out, and yes, it's a very individual thing. The problem that we face is that humanity has been programmed for so long into a state of powerless victimhood or else rebellion by religions that keep telling us that we're weak sinners who need to be saved by an all-powerful but highly judgmental God figure. He, and it's always a he, is said to reside up in the sky somewhere and needs to be worshipped, flattered and praised and cajoled into doling out his aid and blessings. Humans react in different ways to this message. Some react with fear and get drawn into all the dogma, grovelling and begging for forgiveness, while others turn rebellious and do their best to live as godless a life as possible, to the detriment of everybody around them. Still others don't really care or think about it much at all, but their default setting still tends to be fear. The reality that we've been brainwashed over millennia to forget is that this God being resides within all of us. It's not a great being out there somewhere. It's within us and around us right here, right now. And that God part of us, which is the real us, is an immortal, omnipresent and omniscient being. By taking on, understanding and acknowledging this truth at the core of our being empowers us beyond anything that life can throw at us down here. In this way, we each create our own reality. Fear is many people's reality, but it doesn't have to be yours or mine. We all have free will.
We all have free will, and if we can truly just acknowledge this deeper understanding and really take it on board, life will become a whole lot simpler and way more meaningful. I'd like to end this session with another message that Judy received regarding what's playing out on the planet right now. Very powerful. So here it is.
Whether we get the jab or not is not the point. Whoops, excuse the pun. The point is, whatever decision we make, needle or no needle, providing it comes from love and not from fear, is a good decision. For example, if we get it because we're scared of catching the big C, then that is not a good choice. But if we get it to enable us to do the right thing by another person, for example, the need to visit or care for someone in hospital or aged care, then protection will be provided. If we choose not to get it, if it comes from fear, not a good choice, but if it comes from being our way of making a stand for everyone against the growing dictatorship, then it's a good choice. It all hinges upon the intention behind whatever decision we make.
Yeah, the intention behind it. That makes sense. So if you want to read more about all of this, just to remind everybody, Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which will be included in the link below. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, sending you all so much love. Thank you all for listening, and bye for now.